why wouldn't you, just to see if it does anything to the offense, give him an opportunity to go in there and play?
Yeah, obviously my focus is where we are right now, Mary Kay. That's not my focus.
You won't believe what just exploded in Cleveland. Mary Kay Cabot just went nuclear on Kevin Stefanski, calling him out for allegedly faking Shedeur Sanders' injury just to keep him benched against the Patriots. Yeah, you heard that right. The coach might have played doctor, puppet master, and magician all in one twisted move. Now the internet's losing its mind. Fans are flooding timelines, demanding answers, and nobody's walking away clean from this mess. The Browns aren't just in chaos, they're on full-blown fire. Not the good kind either. This one reeks of bad choices, broken promises, and a coach who apparently graduated with honors in excuses and denial. Kevin Stefanski has hit legendary status. Not for coaching genius or big wins, but for what fans are calling one of the wildest cover-ups in NFL memory. The rumor? He allegedly faked an injury to keep the team's most electric quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, off the field. The guy's got a cannon for an arm, quick feet, and a fan base ready to riot if he doesn't play. Yet somehow, he ended up sidelined like he was made of glass. And get this, Shedeur wasn't limping, wasn't struggling, nothing. He was loose, stretching, smiling. Word is, he was bouncing around that locker room like he was game day ready, practically daring Stefanski to stop him. But the coach, he stood there cold, motionless, pretending the kid couldn't go. It's madness. A power move, a lie gone too far, or the start of something way bigger than football? Mary Kay Cabot didn't just walk into that press conference. She stormed in like a Category 5 hurricane with a mic in hand, ready to tear the whole story apart. She shredded Stefanski's version of events like it was made of wet tissue paper. According to her, Sanders wanted to play. Sanders tried to play, but Stefanski...
That made no sense, and I'll be honest with you, I think he knew it made no sense.
Okay, so wait.
There's no defending that kind of answer.
No, there isn't. So are you making the suggestion? Anyways, I don't even know. You might be dead on the money on this one, okay? I want to flesh this thing out completely here. That Stefanski will play Dillon Gabriel, and if they at any point say you have to go to Shedeur, he'll just continue to say no and no and no, and you know the end result of that.
Yes.
He's asking to get fired.
Yes, or I think there's a lot...
Like mid-season, he's asking to get fired. Either I play Dillon Gabriel, and I'm not moving to Shedeur, and if you want me to move to Shedeur...
Oh no, he had other plans. Ones that clearly didn't involve winning, excitement, or keeping fans from throwing their remotes at the TV. The Browns faced the Patriots, and what followed wasn't just a loss, it was a public meltdown. The kind of defeat that leaves fans staring at the screen in silence. We're talking total annihilation, demolished, humiliated, vaporized. Stefanski saw Sanders moving, throwing, flexing, probably even blinking in perfect quarterback rhythm. But instead of letting him shine, the coach doubled down on the lie, keeping that injury storyline alive like it was gospel. At this point, Stefanski's living in his own alternate reality, like someone screaming that the sky's green while standing on a rooftop pointing at blue clouds. The media wasn't having it either. Skip Bayless went off, blasting Stefanski for letting Sanders warm up, run drills, and look game ready, only to yank him out right before kickoff. They're calling it what it is, favoritism at best, sabotage at worst. Some fans even joke this whole thing feels like a sick prank only Stefanski himself finds funny. Meanwhile, Bailey Zappe, the so-called backup, suddenly became the coach's chosen one, a backup who looked more like a prop than a plan. This isn't strategy, it's sabotage wrapped in denial. The Browns tried to act like nothing was wrong, hiding in plain sight while Shedeur Sanders stood on the sidelines, helmet tucked under his arm, probably wondering if he'd accidentally wandered onto the set of some twisted reality show called Coaching Gone Wild. The cameras caught it all. Sanders ready to go, eyes locked in and still glued to the bench. Did Stefanski really think nobody would notice, or is he just addicted to creating chaos for sport? Logic? Gone, out the door, vanished like the Browns' playoff hopes. Meanwhile, the locker room is boiling over. Myles Garrett...
Cleveland reporter Mary Kay asks Coach Kevin Stefanski another question about Shedeur, and he disses Shedeur. Yeah, I told you guys. he doesn't like hearing Shedeur Sanders' name. I've been telling you guys this over and over again. When it comes to Coach Kevin Stefanski and hearing the name of Shedeur Sanders, it's like a vampire tasting garlic for the first time.
The defensive beast himself has had enough. Garrett's not one to sugarcoat anything. When he sees nonsense, he calls it out and probably kicks a helmet just to let the frustration breathe. Because when you care about winning like he does, silence isn't an option. He's watched the offense crumble week after week, lost in a fog of confusion and terrible decisions. It got so bad, he basically said what everyone else was thinking out loud: I want to win. I don't care what anyone thinks. If there's something I can do to help this team, I will. But even Garrett's fire couldn't save this mess. His energy, his sweat, his heart, all wasted by the circus on the sidelines. The defense fought like warriors, but the offense? They looked like extras in a disaster movie, sinking faster than the Titanic, and Stefanski's the captain pretending it's all part of the plan. The Browns are sinking, mate, slowly, painfully, with everyone on board silently screaming for help. And right there in the chaos, Kevin Stefanski sits like a man flipping through a manual titled How to Alienate Your Star Players in 7 Easy Steps. It's unbelievable. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel's passes keep falling short. The playbook's so predictable, the defense might as well be reading it live.
Stefanski had his press conference today and a very interesting back and forth with Kay Cabot. She asked him some questions about Shedeur Sanders and the back tightness that held him out of yesterday's game. And some of the nuggets in there were quite interesting, if you ask me. So she said Shedeur mentioned in the locker room yesterday, either before or after the game, that it wasn't his decision not to be active in the game yesterday. Now, I know that's not always a big deal because obviously it is the medical staff and the coaching decision whether or not a player is going to be active.
And the Patriots are tearing them apart like they're stealing candy from a baby. Except this time, that baby is the Browns' playoff dreams. Fragile, helpless, and crying for mercy. The frustration inside that locker room isn't simmering anymore. It's exploding. Myles Garrett didn't bother with sugarcoating, didn't hide behind locker room politics. He went public and made it clear. Gabriel's performance isn't just disappointing, it's hurting the team. But Stefanski? He's acting like he's deaf to the chaos. No adjustments, no accountability, just the same stubborn routine while the season burns to ashes. This isn't coaching anymore. It's denial dressed up as strategy. Even the analysts couldn't stay quiet. Garrett Bush blasted the offensive plan, calling it flat out terrible, and fans agreed. Doesn't matter if it's Gabriel or someone better under center, nothing's changing while Stefanski keeps running this same broken system. And here's the kicker that's echoing across the league. Shedeur Sanders isn't benched by accident. He's being held back on.
Tell you, man, Kevin Stefanski days are getting numbered. Andrew Berry been saying, you know what, cut the ish. Even Mary Kay said, you know what, I'm tired of lying. I want to see some winning because the quarterbacks that's coming out of the draft next year is hot ass. The quarterbacks are hot ass garbage. We need to see Shedeur. I'm tired of lying. That's what Mary Kay just said.
Purpose, the stats, the body language, the frustration, all of it screams the same truth. Stefanski's either playing 5D chess, nobody understands, or completely lost in a game of checkers he can't win. The chaos just keeps spinning out of control. Week after week, the Browns show up. And week after week, the offense crumbles like a sandcastle in a storm. And through it all, Kevin Stefanski just keeps doubling down. Like a man determined to prove stubbornness is a strategy, Garrett, Denzel Ward, and the team's captains are reaching their breaking point, and you can see it. Garrett kicking stuff, Ward shaking his head mid-game. That's not passion. That's frustration bursting at the seams.
I tell you, man, Kevin Stefanski is going to go down with the ship. He's going to go down on his sword. He's going to go down back in Dillon Gabriel any chance he can get. And Kay Cabot, she really exposed Kevin Stefanski about this whole Shedeur Sanders situation. Now, it's a lot of stuff that's going back and forth, man. A lot of Cleveland media personnel, they are done with Dillon Gabriel. They want Shedeur Sanders to take the reins. And Kevin Stefanski is hell-bent on standing 10 toes down and supporting Dillon Gabriel any chance.
When your defensive star is losing his cool on national TV while the offense melts down, something's deeply broken. Yet Stefanski stands there stone-faced, like a general watching his soldiers sink while claiming it's all part of the plan. It's madness. Analysts across the league are asking the question fans are screaming. How long can Stefanski survive this storm? At this point, fans don't want tweaks or minor fixes. They're praying for a miracle. Even the most seasoned sports journalists are shouting into microphones, calling it insanity that a healthy, fired-up Shedeur Sanders is benched while Dillon Gabriel continues to panic under pressure. But here's the thing. This isn't just about quarterbacks anymore. It's a full-blown cultural collapse. The locker room's divided, morale's tanking, and the team's chemistry is evaporating right in front of everyone's eyes. The headlines read like a modern-day Greek tragedy, a proud but stubborn leader ignoring the truth, a rising hero kept in chains, and a fan base caught in endless heartbreak, watching history repeat itself again and again. Picture this, Shedeur Sanders lighting up the practice field.
Voice that. That's the interesting part. So Shedeur himself felt the need to express that it was not his decision to be inactive for the game. Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but I thought that was interesting because she then follows it up with, if Shedeur had come to you guys and said, hey, I want to play, I can play, would that have factored into this at all, or what was the thinking behind it? And Kevin answered like this. He said, yeah, he obviously came in Saturday with his back injury. We were hopeful that he'd be able to move around well enough to suit up on Sunday, but put him through a pregame warm-up and obviously just didn't feel like he was ready to play, Mary Kay. And here's where the interesting nugget comes in. He says, but he's getting better every day, and I'm hopeful that
running drills with precision, power, and that signature confidence that turns heads instantly. The man's moving like he's born for the moment, showing off raw talent and pure charisma, while the rest of the team looks like they're trapped in slow motion. The contrast is insane. It's like watching a superstar in a sitcom surrounded by clueless extras. You almost expect someone to yell, "Cut!" This can't be real life, but it is. And the nightmare's only getting worse. The losses keep stacking up, and frustration is spreading like wildfire. Myles Garrett's patience? Gone. He's made it clear. He wants to win no matter what it takes. He's willing to push, to fight, to fix this disaster by any means necessary. But Stefanski? Still sitting in denial, blocking Sanders like the season isn't slipping through his fingers? Garrett's message couldn't be louder. The team's desperate. The current plan is broken. And if leadership doesn't wake up soon, this ship's going down fast. Media voices are backing him up too. Skip Bayless and other analysts have said it straight. This isn't about injury anymore. It's about favoritism, pride, and a coach too stubborn to admit he's wrong. Stefanski's not coaching. He's curating a narrative, a fantasy where his plan still works while reality screams otherwise. Every press conference, every highlight reel, every fan tweet says the same thing. Sanders should be playing. Gabriel's struggling. The fans know it, and the clock's running out.
There is some kind of vitriol toward Shedeur Sanders. Now, there's a lot of speculation that went on about the back injury. They saying that Shedeur Sanders actually told them that he had some back tightness. But the reports that I'm getting are telling me that Shedeur did not tell them that he was having any back soreness or back tightness. They said that they watched Shedeur warm up and they noticed that
Stefanski still won't face the truth. This isn't just one bad game. It's a full-on system breakdown, a domino collapse that's slowly crushing the Browns' credibility, chemistry, and season dreams. Every time Dillon Gabriel misses a throw, every time the offense stalls, the pressure gets heavier. It's painfully clear now. If Cleveland wants to save this season, they've got to stop pretending and start acting. Sanders is the solution. Gabriel's the problem, and Stefanski's ego, that's the real enemy dragging this team down. Week after week, fans watch another slow-motion disaster unfold. The defense fighting like warriors, trying to clean up a mess they didn't make, while the offense keeps tripping over its own feet. It's exhausting. The media's documenting this chaos like it's the fall of a football empire, and fans, they're reacting with pure disbelief, flooding timelines with memes that travel faster than any pass Gabriel's thrown all season. And right in the middle of it all, Stefanski stands there.
And say things about Shedeur Sanders. All you have to do is say, look, I get it. Shedeur has a very, big personality and he's known globally, right? But I know Shedeur Sanders as a person, and as what I see here. He works hard, he's intelligent, he puts the work in, he's humble, he's a great teammate. And all of those things, I hope you guys get an opportunity to see that eventually when he gets on the field. And guess what? It would diffuse all bad articles and people would go away. But since you won't say his
arms crossed, eyes cold, making decisions that make sense to no one but himself. It's like he's coaching from another dimension where logic doesn't apply. Meanwhile, Mary Kay Cabot's revelations are still shaking the league. What started as an injury report has become a scandal about fairness, control, and ego. The truth is out. This isn't about health, it's about hierarchy, and fans are furious. The outrage is everywhere, the tension is thick, and the fallout could be catastrophic. This isn't just a coaching misstep, it's a narrative meltdown, the kind that stains reputations and breaks locker rooms for good. Sanders sits there on the sideline, helmet ready, energy burning, waiting for a chance he's already earned. The Browns are standing at a crossroads right now, and the entire world's watching to see which way they fall. Will Shedeur Sanders finally get his shot? Will Kevin Stefanski open his eyes and face the truth that's been screaming at him all season? Or are the Browns doomed to keep walking this twisted line between potential and chaos, talent and stubbornness? Nobody knows. But one thing's for sure, this drama isn't ending anytime soon. Every week, the same question echoes through Cleveland. Why isn't Shedeur Sanders playing? And the follow-up hits even harder. How long can Stefanski keep getting away with this? The answer's nowhere to be found.
Paying up everything. I don't care when you do it. You could do it today. You could do it at the end of the year. You could do it at the bye week. I'm done. I'm done. These people can't get out of their own way. Hey man, I'm not here to rag on people personally or talk about. I can only go by their record. Their record sucks. How could you do that, Andrew?
But the chaos? Oh, that's guaranteed every Sunday. Fans are losing patience, players are side-eyeing the sidelines, and reporters are circling like sharks smelling blood. Just when you think it can't get more ridiculous, the Browns manage to outdo themselves. Stefanski, in his infinite stubbornness, has somehow turned a quarterback controversy into a full-blown Shakespearean tragedy, only with less sense and way more sweat stains. It's comedy disguised as strategy, and everyone's watching in disbelief. While the rest of the NFL is breaking down film, studying matchups, and fighting for playoff spots, Stefanski seems more interested in office politics than touchdowns. He's turned this locker room into his own twisted stage, casting Shedeur as the injured pawn and Dillon Gabriel as the so-called hero. The problem? Gabriel's no hero. The offense runs like a bad improv show. The receivers are running routes that confuse themselves, and the fans can't tell if they're watching football or a farce. The Browns have talent, energy, and fire. But under Stefanski's playbook, it all feels wasted. And until he admits the obvious, this saga's only getting louder, wilder, and way more explosive. The running backs look hesitant, like they suddenly remembered they left the oven on. The playbook? It reads like it was written by someone who just discovered football exists. The offense moves in slow motion while the crowd groans in real time. And through all this madness, Shedeur Sanders is doing everything right. Training, staying sharp, warming up like a pro, ready to save the team at a moment's notice. He's the subplot everyone's waiting to see. But the coach keeps pretending it doesn't exist. Meanwhile, Myles Garrett's frustration has hit cinematic levels.
Because every chance he gets, he shows it. Well, coach, you guys get your kicked. You don't put your backups in? That's not my focus right now. When it comes to Shedeur, like, he gets serious. I see, I was tripping for a little bit, so I said, let me watch his other interviews. And his other interviews about other questions about other players, it don't be like that. And I'm trying to think, okay, so you got a rookie quarterback, right, that everybody keeps talking about. If you don't think the brother's that good, let him go out there and show it. But I think he's scared that if Shedeur goes out there and looks good, he might not look like he knows what he's doing. Because why you been ain't played this young quarterback?
Imagine one of the league's most ferocious defenders, dominating every snap, dragging the team forward with pure willpower, and still having to glance at the sideline like he's watching a live horror show. The man's giving his soul to keep this team alive while the offense keeps tripping over its own shoelaces. His body language says it all: the clenched fists, the side glances, the visible exhaustion. Every move screams one brutal truth: this team is being sabotaged from the inside, and the architect is wearing a headset named Kevin Stefanski. And yet, in true Stefanski fashion, he carries on like nothing's wrong, calm, detached, and completely immune to reason. Every play, every snap, every drop ball feels like another symptom of a deeper problem, a franchise trapped in a loop of denial. The talent's there, the heart's there, the drive's there.
Kevin Stefanski is once again dehumanizing Shedeur, right? We're going to have to put him down before the Rams game, and he gets sacked 5 times. And now we're at the point to where he'd rather lose than put in Shedeur. Now, Dylan Gabriel has a 25 QBR rating, which ranks 32nd out of 32 NFL.
But the leadership missing in action. Stefanski's stubbornness has turned strategy into self-sabotage. And if he keeps going down this road, the Browns won't just keep losing games, they'll lose faith, chemistry, and maybe their collective sanity before the season's even over. The storm's hitting its peak now. Cleveland's entire season feels like it's hanging by a single fraying thread, and everyone, from the locker room to the fan base, knows exactly who's holding the scissors. Stefanski's doubling down again, still pretending that the plan is working even as the scoreboard screams otherwise. The Browns aren't just losing games anymore. They're losing belief, and that's the one thing you can't coach back once it's gone. Shedeur Sanders sits there every week, helmet on, jaw tight, eyes locked on the field like a man watching his own destiny being stolen in real time. He's ready, hungry, and clearly the spark this team needs, yet the coach keeps freezing him out like he's some rookie begging for scraps. It's disrespectful, it's irrational, and it's tearing the soul out of the team.
Cleveland Browns insider Mary Kay has just reported that Kevin Stefanski is going to stick with Dylan Gabriel coming after the bye week. He's still leaving him in after a horrible performance this week, and majority of the other weeks he hasn't thrown for 200 yards, but in one game, 2 interceptions and a safety, nothing but 2 passes that were over 10 yards in the air, and he's still going to leave him in. This says everything.
Meanwhile, fans have gone full rebellion mode online. Hashtags calling for Stefanski's job are trending, memes are everywhere, and every sports show in America's got one question looping nonstop: why isn't Sanders playing? The crowd's done waiting for answers. They want change, and they want it now. Even players who used to stay quiet are starting to crack. Garrett's tone in interviews is sharp. Denzel Ward's frustration is showing, and the whole locker room feels divided. Half still loyal, half ready to explode. The tension's electric, you can feel it. And through it all, Stefanski stands there with that same stubborn calm, acting like the critics are crazy and the plan's fine. But everyone can see it. This isn't leadership, it's delusion dressed up as discipline. If something doesn't give soon, this could turn into one of the ugliest meltdowns in Browns history. Sanders is the key sitting right there in plain sight, and yet Stefanski's pretending he lost it. The city's fed up, the players are boiling, and the NFL's watching, because if this collapse keeps unfolding, it won't just be a bad season, it'll be a legacy breaker. It's painfully clear now. The Browns are standing right on the edge of disaster. The tension is unbearable, the locker room's divided, and the fans are hanging by a thread. Shedeur Sanders could be the lifeline they need, the spark that could drag this team out of the mud and back into relevance. But Stefanski, he's still gripping the wheel like a man determined to drive straight through the warning signs. This isn't just football anymore. It's chaos turned into performance art. Every Sunday feels like watching a franchise teeter between brilliance and breakdown, between what could have been and what's left of their pride. The offense looks like it's one bad play away from imploding completely, And still, the coach refuses to let Sanders take the reins. The man's got the arm, the confidence, and the fire. Everything this team's missing right now. The drama's almost cinematic, rich, ridiculous, and impossible to look away from. The frustration's boiling over in every corner of Cleveland. Fans want answers, players want hope, and the rest of the league, they're watching like it's a live soap opera, waiting for the inevitable explosion. Every Sunday now plays out like the same tragic movie on repeat, the same missed chances, the same what-ifs, and the same stubborn choices. The question echoes louder every week, bouncing off every sports show, tweet, and locker room wall. How much longer can this charade go on before reality finally hits? The Browns' private theater of chaos isn't just embarrassing anymore. It's self-inflicted destruction. And unless someone in that building finds the courage to make the right call, this story's headed for a brutal ending. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because this saga's far from over, and trust me, you'll want to be here when it all finally blows up. See you on the next one.